Welcome! I'm Johan and Lincoln.
And I'm Lincoln Murphy, and this is Impact Weekly. We're here to help you make your customers successful. Each week, we answer your most pressing customer success management questions by relying on our years of experience with companies around the world.
Let's get this going. Hey everyone, welcome back to Impact Weekly. We got a question in the comments recently, and I think it's such an important question, and it goes like this. Could you do an episode, that's what we're doing right now, on how to properly conduct goal discovery with clients? Amazing question and so important. But let's do like we always do here and just take one step back. And for someone that's brand new into customer success, what is customer goals? What do we talk about there?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I always like to start with, we're talking about goals. And this is something that, a lot of times people have questions about, like, do we even need to know what our customers' goals are? So let's really take that step back to what is customer success. So how do we define customer success? Customer success is when our customers achieve their desired outcome through their relationship with us. Okay, so what is desired outcome? Desired outcome is made up of two pieces. One is the customer goal, and one is their appropriate experience. So we have to deliver both. But right there, in that definition, basically what we're saying is customer success is when our customers achieve their goals through through an appropriate experience in their relationship with us. So if we don't know what their goal is, how are we doing customer success? So I sometimes say that to be provocative because, it's like, well, we're doing something. We're working really hard. We're working with our customers, but we don't know what their goals are. So are you doing customer success? By the strict definition, no, you're not. If you don't know what the customer's goal is, how can you know whether or not they're successful? You really can't. You can know that they're using your product. You can know that they're engaging with you. You can know a lot of things, but if you don't actually know their goal, you cannot know whether they are successful. And therefore, what we're doing is not actually customer success. So I kind of believe that, knowing the customer's goal is sort of foundational to, everything that we do. That's all.
Yeah.
It's kind of important.
Kind of important. Yeah, I agree. And yet, I think it's still a lot. I mean, we talk to so many customer success managers, heads of customer success, and it's sometimes even though this is so key and central to customer success, people tend to forget about the customer goals.
Yes.
And that's why I believe this question is so powerful and such an important topic. How can we forget about it when it's such a central thing?
It's really interesting. I think the reason is that our product or our service is kind of the center of our universe. I mean, it's the thing that we, as a company, that we sell, that we build, that maybe we pride ourselves on. It's maybe we're doing some really cool stuff. It's why we think investors gave us money. Like it's just our product is central to us, and so we forget that our customers bought our product or subscribed to our service or whatever because our customers are trying to achieve something. We think that they bought our product because they think our product is as cool as we think it is, or they're as excited about our product as we are. And I really think that's it. I don't really think there's anything, nefarious, or I don't think people are trying to avoid customer goals or trying to understand what the customer's, trying to accomplish. I think we just get kind of self-centered. And we think that we're the most important thing. And so that's what we focus on. The other thing is, if it's not that sort of self-centeredness, and I don't mean that in a negative way, it's just sort of, I think it's human nature a little bit. Like we just sort of focus on the thing that is all about us. But the other thing is, um, it's just easier.
Yeah.
It's easier to talk about our product and to talk about how to use our product and things like that than it is to get to know the customer
Yeah.
and take the time, especially in very high volume situations, um,
Yeah.
where a CSM is working with a lot of customers. This seems like it would be a very time consuming process to understand what their goals are, and hopefully we'll
Yeah.
show you today that it really isn't.
No.
um, and it is also really powerful if we can understand how to discover their goals and to do that. But I think really
Yeah.
it's just we're not we're not thinking about that. But I would encourage you to kind of remember what customer success is, and that if we don't know their goals, then we really don't know what success means to them, and so we really can't be doing customer success. I
Yeah.
think I think if you can keep that top of mind, it'll help. Um, it'll help you focus on these
Yeah.
things.
And I think just to add another third alternative or a third reason there is also that usually when the customer reach out to us, it's about the product,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's also like they won't, I mean, hopefully they will change when you start doing this goal discovery. They will start asking about business goals to you. But in general, the questions we get or when they make contact to us, it's about our product.
Yes. Oh, I mean that's absolutely perfect. And in fact, that's a perfect sort of segue into talking about our our goal discovery framework that we cover in
Yes.
our Impact Academy training.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it than what we can really cover here today, but essentially there are just some really simple questions that we can ask to discover the customer's goal.
Yeah.
And there's the three that are the most important. We'll talk about these in more detail. Is what that's that's their objective.
Yeah.
When that's by when do they need to achieve this objective? By the way, a goal, if you're not familiar, is an objective plus a time frame. So
Yeah.
what and when makes up their goal. And then there's this other aspect of that we would ask is why. Like, why does this
Yeah.
matter? Okay, so we know what, when, and why, and we'll go into more on that. But there's another question, which is how. Well,
Yeah.
that's not really a goal discovery question. That's sort of that's being prescriptive about how we're going to accomplish what they need to accomplish and within their time frame, the when. The problem is, and to your point, everybody wants to start with how.
Yeah.
And when I say everybody, I mean the CSM, like so from the customer success side, uh, we want to talk about how you're going to accomplish this with our product or through
Mm.
the consumption of our service. We want to talk about the features and functionality. We want to start there because that's easiest for us and it's what we're most passionate about. It's what we really know about. Um, and the customer, to your point, they come in with wanting to start with how as well. Like, I have
Exactly.
questions about these features. I want to use this functionality.
Yeah.
Well, but the customer, see, here's the secret. Even though they're wanting to start with how, they still have goals.
Yeah.
They just don't really think that you're probably going to want to talk about their goals. They aren't thinking that you're there to help them with their goals. So this is a positioning thing as well. So they start with how.
Exactly.
And if
And
both of
and
you
I
start
think
with how,
also back to the question here, discovery here is
yes.
it's a key word because I mean, if you just ask the customer straight up, what is your goal? What happens, right?
Yeah. Well, so first of all, a lot of times, yeah, if you ask them what their goal is, they're going to tell you it's to do this in the product. It's
Yeah.
it's product centric. So if you've ever asked anybody about their goals and you weren't really, thinking about it too much, what you would get back would just be product centric things. So that sort of it reinforces this idea that all we have to do is really talk about the product. But again, your customers have business goals. They
Yeah.
have higher level things that they're trying to accomplish, um, which is the reason that they are using your product. And you have to understand that and then go through the process of, to your point, Johan, discovering that. because
Exactly.
they're not just going to tell you this. It's not going to just be obvious. But if you forget that there's even this what, when, and why aspect to it,
Yeah.
and you just start with how, then we're missing a lot of really valuable information, but we're also missing, I think, valuable positioning of you as a CSM in the customer's mind as somebody that can help them achieve their goals. And that's a whole nother discussion, but that's important as well. So I think we should dig into the goal discovery framework a little bit more.
Yeah. So uh, let's start there. Where how do I have a new account, or I have a new customer, sorry, a new customer here that I'm responsible for. Where do I start? And I mean, I think a lot of times we just get on the phone or get on a Zoom call or whatever, but there's more to it, right? To get get where we want with the customer.
For sure. I think so. One of the things we talked about in Impact Academy in our CSM training that is positioning, making sure that
Yes.
you as a CSM are positioned in a valuable way in the
Yeah.
customer's mind. In other words, you don't want to be seen as just like a product specialist or glorified support or things like that. You don't want to be seen as just a problem solver. And what we see a lot of times is CSM will get on a call with a customer, and they'll start with questions like, um, what problems are you having? What issues
Mm.
are you running into? What do you want to accomplish with the product? So we'll just immediately, right out of the gate, start
Mm.
with questions that are going to position the CSM not as this sort of strategic partner that's here, for long term growth,
Yeah.
but just immediately positions you as a problem solver. I'm here to just solve your problems, and
Exactly.
long term, that's a problem because the customer's not going to really ever see you as anything more than that. And so once they don't have any more quote unquote problems to solve, they may disengage from you. They're certainly not going to want to have strategic conversations with you. So right there, we need to change the way that we approach the customer from the very beginning. And I think it starts with understanding this. Your customers always have goals. They always have a what they need to accomplish and a when they need to accomplish that. So that's their goal, objective plus time frame. They always
Yeah.
have that. They also always have a why.
Yeah.
Why does this matter to them? There's a reason that they need to accomplish that goal. The goal might be, if you have a CRM product that helps salespeople, or go to market teams or whatever, you have, their goal is to add, $100,000 in new revenue by the end of this quarter. Okay, so there's your
Yeah.
goal and there's your time frame. Now, why might be that if they do that, they'll have a better chance at a higher valuation when they go to raise their next round of funding.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So what, when, and why? But if you didn't take literally 30 seconds to understand that, and you just they came to you and said, we want to set up lead routing in the
Mm.
CRM, and you said, cool, here's how to do that.
Yeah.
You just
Right.
missed out on some incredibly valuable intel that
Exactly.
you're going to be able to help them shape. First of all, lead routing might not be the thing that they need to do right out of the gate.
Exactly.
Second of all, you're missing out on some intel that would maybe help motivate them to take the actions that they need to take to reach those
Yeah.
goals. And third, we're just missing out on just really valuable context of the relationship. So you simply ask. So when you get on the call, they say, we want to set up lead routing. You say, great, we can totally do that. But just so you know, the way that we work together, the
Yeah.
way that I work with my customers is I try to understand what they're trying to accomplish so that I can make sure that they're doing what they need to do to be successful. So let's start with this real quick. And then you just go through, what are you trying to accomplish? When, why does it matter? And
Yeah.
it's interesting. Something like, they want to add X amount of revenue. You would say, well, why do I need to ask why? It's obvious, getting more revenue is good. Yes.
Mm.
But if we know that additional revenue is going to give them a higher valuation when they raise their next round of funding, that's that's a very specific thing that matters to them, that we can use again to motivate, to
Yes.
drive them in the right directions, and to maybe help them ultimately use the product in a way that's going to be in line with those goals. It takes an extra 5 minutes,
Yeah.
to have that conversation, and then you can go into, all right, cool, well, you're right, lead routing is what you need to set up, so let's go ahead and do that. But even if you end up in the same place,
Yeah.
with what they wanted to do initially, you now have that additional intel, and they also see you as somebody that's thinking about them on a more strategic level. And that's the kind of
Exactly.
thing. So remember, whether you discover those goals or not, your customers have them. And
Yeah.
so you have a choice to be strategic with them, or just to be, kind of pushing features and functionality on them, and helping them solve their problems. That's up to you. And
Exactly.
the goal discovery framework is will help you do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot more to this, but I think we covered the most important things here. But it's such a powerful thing, and then because you link their goal with what your product is doing, and that puts leverage into this, and then I mean, as you said, how can be the thing they thought of themselves, but how can also be other things that when we know their goal, our knowledge of the product can open up more things for them. And that's going to open up for expansion. It's going to open up for a lot more things. And when you link it to their goal, when they bring this back to their manager or to their leadership team, or whoever makes the calls, they will get budget for this as well.
Yeah, I mean, it really changes. It helps out in so many different ways, and really changes the nature of your relationship with them right out of the gate. And
Yeah.
look, the fact is, because there's a couple of things that usually come up that are sort of secondary questions to this. Well,
Mm.
you know, what if there's always what if questions, right? What if
Yeah.
my customer doesn't know their goal? What if
Yeah.
my customer doesn't want to share their goal? What if my customer, whatever? And look, there's lots of different things that we can talk about there, but your customers always have goals. If they don't know what they are, um, then this is an opportunity to have a discussion with them to help them figure out how to know what they are. Your point of contact
Yeah.
may not. It may be valid that they don't know what the real business goal is, but you can help them find out.
Yeah.
They should also know why this is being done, so you can help them uncover those goals internally, so that they can share them with you. Because ultimately what we're trying to say is, look, if we know your goals, then we can help you use our product in a more efficient way. We can help you
Yeah.
achieve those. But there's also the fact that they may know the goal, but they're like reluctant to talk about it with you, because they've never done that with a CSM. They've never done
Right.
that with a software vendor of theirs. In which case you just get to say, look, I don't know how I don't know what other companies, you've worked with. I don't know how they did things, or whatever, but this is how we do it. We're here
Yeah.
to make you successful. We're here to help you achieve these goals. And so we're probably different than other companies you've worked with, and that's why you guys are working with us, right? So
Exactly.
again, positioning, but it's a discovery process, and sometimes we do run into some hurdles like that, like they don't know or they're unwilling to talk about it. We just have to prepare, sort of be
Exactly.
be prepared for any potential objections that might come up. Objections in this case to telling us their goals, or to being able to tell us their goals. And
Uh,
if we do that, we're going to be in a better place.
And a lot of the time when we bring this up, and if you're not used to working with this, you're more focused on the how. From customer success managers, they sometimes push back and say, "But I'm not strategic. I don't know how to do this." And even if you don't have the a huge experience here, but there's stuff you can do here. I'm thinking social proof is a very
Mm,
effective way to uh, to talk goals with the customer, and by sharing what you've done with other customers.
absolutely. Social proof is can be an amazing thing to almost lean on, almost as a almost as something you say to your customer, of like, you don't have to take my word for it, you don't have to believe me. Look what
Mhm.
other customers like you have done as well. And of course, we don't say it exactly like that. We say, well, here's a company, in a similar industry as you with a similar goal. This is what they accomplished. Let me
Yeah.
send you this case study, or let me send you this story or
Oh
this
yeah.
video that our other customer did. Like, that's incredibly powerful, and that can actually get them talking. Like when you hear another customer talking about their goals and how they accomplish those using this product, it can start to get the wheels moving in your customer's mind. Like, oh, I see. Okay, so when you're talking about goals, you mean business goals, not just with our product.
Yes.
And you're like, yes,
Exactly.
exactly. So yeah, it's a really powerful thing. I just want to say this, and then I think we should probably give those very practical
Concrete
three
things.
things that
Yeah.
we say. I just want to lay this out for everybody as a CSM, but also as a company, as the vendor in your customer's life. Your value increases substantially when you are a part of the customers achieving their goal. Remember, your customers have goals no matter what. If they achieve those goals sort of on their own, and your product was just a sort of a tool that they figured out how to apply to the situation, and they were able to achieve their goal, you're a nice little tool that sort of helped them do that. If you were, really understood their goal and shaped their use of the product such that it was in service of achieving that goal, you as a CSM, you as a company, you as a product become so much more valuable in their mind.
Yeah.
And this comes down to three little questions. What, when, and why. Like, asking those questions. And of course, we have some additional questions that we ask, that we
Yeah.
in the full sort of the full discovery process. But look, if you just do those things, you're going to be in a much better place. So I
Yeah.
think just remember that your value is
Uh,
is tied to their success.
yeah. It's a game changer. I think this is really it is. All right. Let's wrap it up in three things now to make how to do goal discovery.
So I would just say, let's start with number one would be, being prepared. You know,
Right.
just spending some time understanding the customer to the extent possible. Leading up to asking the questions that you would ask, brainstorming, thinking through what are some possible objectives that they might have, what are some possible objections that they might have.
Yeah.
I would actually split those into two. So the first one is to kind of really be prepared and think about what needs to go into that discovery process. And number two, think about their objections. Like,
Yeah.
let's break that out into a separate practical idea here.
Yeah.
Think about what objections they might come up with when you ask them about their goal. Might they say, I don't know what it is? Might they say, I'm not comfortable talking about that? And then think about how you would overcome those objections. Being
Yeah.
prepared like that is going to be critical. So those are my first two. So I took two
Yeah.
there. Johan, what's the third
And
one?
yeah, yeah, and for that, for both one and two, there we have this framework, and we have this laid out in our Impact Academy. So if you want to go into go further into that, we have it in the Impact Academy. And the last one here is what we touched on just a minute ago. Use social proof here
Yeah.
in your goal discovery. It's such a powerful thing. It moves things forward a lot more effectively, especially if you are a little bit more new into the role, or you don't have all the experience that you think you need. Social proof is really effective here. So those are the three practical things to do to improve your goal discovery. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, thanks for listening. Do you want to bring your customer success to the next level? Check out Impact Academy. We have training programs for customer success managers and for leaders in customer success.